Hello and welcome back to the MLB DFS Slate breakdown for June 14th. We got a fun slate on our hands. It is 12 games. Before we get into all of that, make sure to like, comment, and to subscribe to all of our YouTube videos. Helps us out a ton to give free content out. And come join us in the LineStar community. We'd love to have you. It is only $29.99. Gets you access to all of the tools, all of the DFS stuff, all of the props stuff for all of the sports we cover. Now, you could also join with one of our promo offers, getting 2 to 6 months free. Now, let's get into the projections. Let's get into the fun. Go over this slate. And we will start, as always, with some pitching ownership. So, Clayton Kershaw, 10.8K, 41% owned. I think he's in a good spot. He has been absolutely dominant lately. White Sox strike out 23% versus lefties. However, they do hit lefties decently at a 334 WOBA. The one thing I would say is Kershaw has been absolutely dominant at home, averaging 38.7 more fantasy points while home. He has pretty much a 3-point FIP over the last 20 and over the last 5. Goes with a 30.5 K rate and a combined K rate of 29.6. One thing I would bring up, very small sample size, but White Sox have been able to get to Kershaw. 22 plate attempts, they're hitting 355. Other thing that looks a little scary, it's just a hard contact rate that Kershaw's given up at 32.8. But Kershaw's in a great spot. We have a decent projection for him at 10.8K. Glasnow. Now, I like Glasnow a little bit better. The projection is a little bit higher. He is cheaper. It is against the A's, who happen to be the hottest team in baseball. But Glasnow has been excellent. 2.6 FIP, 33.3% K rate. His K rate's actually down too. He has a 35% K rate over the last 20 starts. Solid combined K rate, 29.5. I definitely like Glasnow in this situation. Would not be scared to use him. The scary thing with him is his StatCast data. 50% hard hit rate, 8-barreled balls, and 36 batted balls. So guys, when they're hitting the ball, are making decent contact, but that's when they're hitting it. So we got Oakland today. They strike out a lot. It's a pitcher-friendly park. I don't mind going to Glasnow. The one thing that I do have to bring up with him is he has yet to go 90 pitches. So his upside may be slightly limited due to that. Now we got Luis Castillo versus the Marlins. Marlins don't strike out a ton, and they have hit Castillo fairly well lately. 364 average and 35 plate attempts. Once again, that is a small sample size. As a team, Marlins aren't great offensively. So I wouldn't be too scared off the opponent BVP. The other thing to add in is that Castillo's just been a lot better at home, averaging 59% more fantasy points while home. You can see if you look at all of his numbers when he is on the road, those are the games where he's struggled a little bit. At home has been all of his blow-up games. I don't mind going Castillo, definitely, or especially at slightly less ownership than the other guys. Now we got Framber Valdez, 20% owned. Look, Framber is going to go very deep into games. He doesn't have the total upside that the other guys do, but he is lower owned, and there's a good chance he goes deeper into the games than those other guys. His strikeout rate is much lower. The combined K rate on him is only 20% today. Next, got Merrill Kelly, 14%. I don't love it at 9,600. You can do it, though. And Justin Verlander. Verlander is one I really wanted to bring up. He has struggled lately. Everybody knows it. Everybody's talking about, oh, he's washed, blah, 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 blah. I don't buy it. He has had some tough situations. He played in Atlanta, played the Blue Jays, in Coors, played against the Guardians and the Tampa Bay Rays over his last 5. Those are all tough assignments, and 2 of them in very hard places to pitch. So this 5.15 FIP may be a little elevated, and it's very, very much not Verlander-like. But I wouldn't let that scare you off too much. The StatCast data still looks decent. And so I think there's going to be some positive regression for him. And this Yankees team without Judge, not very dangerous. 24.5% K rate versus righties. They have a decent ISO, but a pretty low WOBA. I don't mind it. Yankees have a low Vegas run total. I think at 8K, if ownership is really this low, I'm probably going to be hammering Verlander. Now, if we go down a little bit, I do like Andrew Heaney as a low-owned option. Angels strike out a decent amount versus lefties, almost 24%. One thing I do have to bring up is that he hasn't been as good at home, which is weird. But for whatever reason, teams have been getting to him at home a little bit. With that being said, he also does have some of his better games there. But there is some strikeout upside against this team if he can limit the runs. Also need to bring up Michael Wacha. Michael Wacha has been borderline elite over the last month, even month and a half. 2.71 FIP over his last 5 starts, 1.15 ERA, K rate of 30%. I don't know what has got into this guy, but he has been electric lately. He's been really good, and we've seen some real big upside games. We are loving him on the projection standpoint for his salary. I think there's a lot to like about Wacha, especially going in at low ownership. Now, let's get into the FanDuel ownership here, and Kershaw leading the way once again. 11.1K though, he is very pricey, 34.3%. Glasnow's next, 21%, and 10.1K, so still pricey, but big discount from Kershaw. Castillo, 10.8K. I don't love Whitlock. However, he has shown us some nice games lately. I think you can go there. Colorado strikes out a decent amount, but they do have a decent WOBA versus righties. The other thing is there is some worry for rain here, so make sure if you go with Whitlock that you pay attention to weather because there is a little bit of weather risk. Castillo, 8.8K, you love it. Verlander, 8.8%. Verlander's 8.8K and 8.6% owned. I think all of those look decent. If I'm going down the list any further, I'm likely only going to try and go to more of a stud, which isn't really there. So outside of Framber is probably the only guy, if I'm paying up for pitcher, that I would take outside of Glasnow or Kershaw. Minor difference between Valdez and Castillo in salary there. So yeah, I definitely might have some Verlander on FanDuel at 86. Now let's check out, 88. Let's check out the stacks. And we'll start with the highest owned. And highest owned, we got the Red Sox. No surprise, they're in a good spot. Austin Gomber is absolutely terrible. 6.13 FIP, 8.8 FIP over the last 5. Good game factors as far as ballpark, weather, umpire, all of that to support offense. And there's a 5.8 implied total. So definitely got to like the Red Sox a little bit there. It's just you're following ownership. But it's a 12-game slate, so you absolutely can do that. The only situation where you may want to think about fading just due to ownership is if you're in a smaller single-entry GPP, because the Red Sox ownership will likely balloon up a little bit more. But still, you don't need to fade them. It's a big slate. People are going to do a lot of different things. Highest projection. Now, the Reds, I think, are an interesting spot. There's decent weather. It's a good ballpark, good umpire. 5-run implied total. Daniel Lynch isn't that great. I think there's a lot to like about the Reds. I think you could do the Rockies too. We have Gary Whitlock, who has been a decent pitcher, but really good weather here. 4.7 implied total. It's the highest game total of the night at real low ownership. I do like them. Just realized I had it on 4 and not 5, so we switched to that. But I do like that it gave us a little different teams there. Next, we got the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers are real interesting. Now, this stack in particular, I don't know if I would play just because it is so expensive. You'd have to get pretty cheap at pitching to fit this all in. But the Dodgers do have some guys that are cheap that you can absolutely get in instead. And I like this Dodgers offense in a great matchup, especially the lefties versus Clevinger. And I think Tampa Bay Rays, you can literally always play. Luis Medina has not been good. 6.94 FIP over the last 5, 6.6 over the last 20. He has not been great. However, he is a highly touted prospect, so those numbers could get better, and there could be some regression to improvement there. Also, Oakland A's bullpen is trash, so you can attack that. Detmers and Rangers. Rangers have super high upside. I don't mind getting to them at such low ownership. Detmers hasn't been going that deep into games, and I am betting the Detmers under for outs today. So I do kind of like this Ranger offense. You're going to be getting different. I would probably only do it on the biggest GPPs though, and hope you can get to that Angel bullpen a little bit early. Now let's go the value side. Value, I love this KC offense again today. Lively hasn't been good. Low 5s FIP. You can definitely get there. They are cheap. A lot of different ways you can go. Toronto. I like Toronto offense today. Bradish is not great. He's given up some real hard contact, so you could do worse than getting to them. Now, ceiling play. We got Philadelphia coming in. I don't love Philly. Merrill Kelly is a decent pitcher. His FIP is much higher than his ERA, but he is one of those pitchers that somehow just gets away with that year after year. But you absolutely can do it. There is high ceiling, and this Philly offense is hitting right now. They scored big-time runs yesterday, and nobody's going there. So it's definitely interesting on a larger scale GPP play. Angels, you can do that. We know Heaney's got lit up at times, and he has been worse at home. So not bad situation to attack a hot Angels offense. There's also price-wise not too bad. You have Trout and Ohtani, but can get a lot of value in there as well. So I like all of those. Let's just go over this a little bit as far as the implied totals. We got Boston, Texas, the Reds, KC, Dodgers, Tampa. We talked about all of them. All of them are in a decent spot. We haven't really talked about Baltimore. I do need to bring them up, though. I do like them today. Berrios can get lit up. He can give up some home runs on his bad days and really let some runners on base. And we got warm weather and wind blowing out in Baltimore, so that one is very intriguing. One thing I do have to say about this Cubs versus Pitt game is yesterday we saw a ton of runs in that game, but the wind was blowing out hard. Today the wind is going to be coming in, changes the dynamic of this game a lot. There will not be as many home runs. So don't be chasing just because you saw a big game there. Could happen. Don't get me wrong. I'm just not chasing it. We talked about Toronto a little bit. This is just the highlight, the hard contact rate. Bradish giving up 40.5. Average X velocity is high as well. So I got to mention Houston here. Josiah Gray has been really good this year. Somehow just keeps getting away with a low ERA, with having a low 5 FIP. But this is a guy that was getting hammered last year and giving up a ton of home runs. So Houston is kind of interesting. He is still giving up some hard contact rate. So if we can see some home runs there, they could absolutely be interesting. So, all right, guys, that will do it today. A lot of different ways to go. I am probably kind of sticking to these top implied total teams. may not get too different. I do like this Colorado one as a lower implied total. It's just in the best game environment. All right. Have a good one. Great talking to you. Good luck tonight. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and come join LineStar so you can have these breakdowns all by yourself. Have a good one, guys. Thanks. Bye.